Okay, boys and girls, we've just listened to the story Coyote Places the Stars, and you remember about the curious coyote and the secrets of the constellation and how he got the ladder to go up to the heavens and look at the constellations. What I'm going to do is going to demonstrate to you how you can draw your own southwestern landscape. Now, when you get your watercolor paper, you need to have it in the direction of landscape rather than portrait. And we're going to be doing the painting resist technique where we're using oil pastels and then watercolor paint. So the oil pastels are going to be used for drawing the lines, not for adding the color. The paint is where we fill in all the areas that the oil pastels haven't been onto the surface, and then the whole painting will be complete with color. First, I'm going to give you as well a drawing guide, so that when you watch this video, if you forget any of the steps, the drawing guide will help you. So just let me pull this back out. Landscape, this is portrait, this is landscape, so a long ways in this direction. With oil pastels you can get a variety of colors, and we're going to be discussing foreground, the middle ground, and then the background. So we're talking about distance as well. When something's farther away it gets smaller, when something's closer it's larger. If you want to, you can actually take this step a step further when we talk about colors as well. Something that's closer, the colors are going to be stronger, darker, and when something goes farther away and recedes, the colors get lighter. So if you want to attempt to do that as well, but what we're talking about is distance, and we're going to start first, and at the bottom of the page, which is the foreground, we'll draw in some cactuses. So I'm just using a blue here. I'm just going to do a stem, and I'm going to draw in some prickly cactus shapes. There you are. And I'm going to do one of these sort of like saguaro cactuses, like that. I'm going to do just a little bit of bumpy ground so that these guys don't look like they're floating. And let's do this. See, looks like teardrops or eyes. And then when you've got those in, you can actually add in some detail. So if I bring down some lines there, and then I could add in some dashes, put the dashes on the outside as well, so it gives it texture, so it looks like it's really prickly. Okay, I'm just doing this very quickly, and I expect you guys to take a little bit more time than me. And I'll just do dots or something on this one. This one can have little prickly stems as well. So just do this swiftly. Now we're going into the middle ground. So what I'm going to do, I'm in the middle of my page, and I'm going to go across, hop, hop, cross, come across, a hop, come across. So when I come to something that's in the foreground, I'm going to hop, so I go in behind it. And if you want, you could actually do that for a second time. Hop. Okay. And then in the farther distance, I want to add in some rocks. See, I'm using sort of like nice sun orange here. I'm going to find a nice brown. I'm going to do some of these Southwestern style cliffs. I'm going to draw some lines on those cliffs. Some of them have plateaus, sort of like flat tops, or boulders sitting on top. I'm going to do some lines going across. Remember that the oil pastel is just for drawing your linear drawing. It's not to be used for colouring. Okay, so everything I'm doing is lines. And if you so wish, I'm going to use a white, and it won't even show up though, but I'm going to draw a crescent moon in the background. And I'm going to draw some stars, do some dots as well for stars for my constellations. You can do a sun if you so wish, or you can do the moon and the stars. When it comes to painting, we're going to paint from the background to the middle ground to the foreground. If you watch what I did, now always remember clean water and a clean brush, and you're going to be using watercolors. So every time you change a color, always wash your brush and regularly clean your water, so change it out. Now when I show you here, when I did the white oil pastel, you can see that the white oil pastel is coming through. So when you draw and you start to paint over it, paint over those lines. Those lines don't get affected. Okay, so look at that, the stars are popping through. So what we do is the background first, okay? You can change colours. I'm going to actually wash my brush and I'm going to add in a little bit of purple just to blend. Now when you're using watercolor paper, because it's got a texture to it and it's heavier, you can actually blend the colours on the surface before they dry. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actually putting the colours side by side and then I get this blend. So it creates a new colour for me, or you can actually put it on top if you wanted to experiment. Try not to muddy up your colours, and then as I said, always make sure that your water is nice and clean, especially with watercolours. And when you're using paler colours as well, definitely make sure that your brush is clean. And what we're going to do is we'll have some scrap paper or a kitchen towel that you can dab your brush onto to make sure that it's definitely clean, or do the water test. Now when I've got the background done, we're going to move into doing the cliffs. And if you want to refresh yourself and go back to the illustrations in the book, Coyote Places the Stars, or use the images that I have projected up on the smartboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that. Now if you see what I'm doing, I'm blending two colours side by side. I've done an orange and I've put a yellow together, and it creates a nice blend together. I'll just bring that down. And I'm just going to continue that. And this is what we should end up with, boys and girls, a nice southwestern landscape. Okay, and it kind of ties itself into science and geography as well. So there we go, boys and girls. Now it's your turn. Let's go and make some art.